What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. I am joined today with Mike Dennis of ReelBlack 1. Once again, I am very happy to have you on the channel. What are your thoughts today about the Criterion Hall? I mean, this is something that every year
The
we get to
hall.
experience 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking, waiting for this particular flash sale for probably 2 or 3 weeks, because usually they do them in February, mid-February, late February, but this one was a little later than usual. And I was fighting. I was like tempted to saving money to do the sale, because I knew there was one movie I definitely wanted, and then at 50% off, you're going to find other stuff and look for stuff for free shipping. So I think I did pretty good this time around. I mean, considering I have a few hundred Criterions already,
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
I
yeah,
did pretty
you
good.
you
I,
make
I
you
think
make
I
mine
think my
into rookie numbers.
well, I mean, I've been doing it for a little while. Criterion is my brand. I mean, I know I've been coming at them a little bit hard. For those who watch my channel, I've been petitioning them to do better, because there's some highly anticipated releases that have yet to make it to the Criterion collection, and I just feel like they make if they make the definitive versions of certain movies, then you don't have to go back, especially now that things are 4K. So yeah,
Exactly. And
but
we'll talk
I
about
love
that.
Criterion collection, and I was really excited about this sale.
Me
Chad.
too. Those of you that don't know, Mike has joined me on the channel before, and ironically, how we met was through our love of Criterion. Like, we met at Barnes and Nobles, and lo and behold, it turns out we're both, YouTubers. Of course, you're a much bigger one. In fact, those of you that don't know, this is his website.
Yeah.
This was a quote by Jonathan Demme, who is one of my favorite filmmakers. R.I.P. He is the same director that did Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia, and this is what he had to say about Michael Dennis, which is quite an honor. How did that feel? I gotta ask, how did that feel, like when he said that about you?
Oh, I think I asked him to give me a quote for the back of my first DVD, and that's what he came up with. So I
Oh,
was very
that
flattered. I was very flattered. Um, he was a mentor of mine. I worked on, I mean, we had this conversation before, but I worked for him on Beloved as a production assistant, and I got to know him and his family pretty well. And he was very, very supportive in the early stages of my career.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a storyteller, you're a historian, archivist, and then of course fellow physical media lover, which ties into all of those. Yeah, that's really our blood.
It's such a bad habit for me, collecting physical media, but I know there are a few thousand other people like me. We share the same DNA. Yeah.
Oh, of course. I mean, the hardest part though is figuring out what to blind buy versus what to you know, yeah, you've seen before, and then once you've seen it, it's like, okay, do I actually buy this? I don't know. That's what I struggle with, because
Mm.
even just trying to figure out, like, if there's a film that I really like, I'm like, okay, am I going to come back to it though? Like, rewatchability is such a huge factor with me buying stuff. But then
Okay.
blind buying, there's so many other things that goes into me trying to figure out, like, if I want to blind buy it.
Yeah. I actually, this haul this time around, I didn't do any blind buys.
Really?
They're all things I had seen in the past that were on my list for a while. But I know what you mean. I mean, typically there will be some things from Criterion that I've never heard of or haven't seen. But for example, Honora, which is announced, I didn't get a chance to see in the theater, but I've heard such good things about it. Won Oscars.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer once it goes on sale for me to pick up. But it comes in, it ebbs and flows. This particular sale, I went the safe route. There were a few things that and I kept myself within a budget, which I felt really good about. there were a few things were considering, like Rumblefish. I just listened to this great podcast interview with Francis Ford Coppola and Rick Rubin, and he was talking about the Rumblefish Blu-ray.
It's
And
amazing. The Blu-ray is amazing.
Well, I looked at it and I was like, I want it, but it says 4K restoration on the back, and I'm like, it's been my luck in the past, like with Criterion, that within, like, Thief was an example where I was waiting, and then I bought Thief as a Blu-ray, and then about 4 months later they announced it as a 4K. So I'm very careful to read the label. I mean, I've too much stuff to watch as it is. So there were a lot of things that I had on my list that I just instantly scratched off because they weren't 4K, but they were made from Blu-ray 4K restorations. So I'm willing to wait and take my chances on waiting for those. Yeah.
That's fair. I think sometimes if I see the 4K restoration, I'm honestly more inclined to buy it because I know that Criterion Blu-rays are just fantastic. So there are a lot of times where they'll have the 4K restoration on a Blu-ray, and then when the actual 4K comes out on a 4K disc, I'll hear people say, yeah, there's really not much uptick because the Blu-ray is just that great. So, like, for example, Silence of the Lambs, speaking of which, it's one of my favorite films of all time. I haven't upgraded it to 4K because I am beyond satisfied with that Blu-ray from Criterion. So I'm just like, there's no need for me to upgrade at any point in time. Same with like Night of the Living Dead, like films like that. I just
have so much stuff, and a lot of it doesn't get looked at right away. It's like things I like to have close by for research purposes. So, like, for example, I mean, I have some Criterions back here. So what I've been doing lately, like, well, this one I might double dip on. It's still sealed. I can't get anything for Sanjuro Yojimbo, but I noticed that there are 4K editions coming out from BFI. So if they manage to come out on sale, I would, even though I can't play, I don't have a region, I can't play the Blu-ray disc, I'll get the 4K from another label because I can play the 4K somewhere else, and it doesn't feel like I'm double dipping. Right. And who knows, maybe, and there's a nice little book that comes with it that's not in the Criterion. I mean, for all intents and purposes, when Criterion comes out with a 4K, it's the bonus features are still what's on the Blu-ray. So that's one way I've navigated around that sort of frustration of, this is double dipping. How many times do I need to own Do the Right Thing? How many times do I need to own Trading Places? You know what I mean? But as far as Criterions go, they don't have the exclusivity that they used to have on certain titles. And then also, when they had the Wild Supplies last sale for Kino Lorber, I picked up, had them for like $10, $11 a piece. A lot of the 4Ks that were originally on Criterion, and now Criterion's getting the rights back to them. So, like, Some Like It Hot, In the Heat of the Night, these were all things that I had.
I think was one of them too.
The Killing, yeah. These were all things that I had on Blu-ray, and I was reluctant to get the 4Ks, but they really blew them out at the end of the year. And now they're coming out on Criterion slowly. And, for $10 more, it's better than paying $25 more to get it from Criterion, so that's how I weighed it. But
and Kino Lorber is really good too. I mean, they're a really good label, so I don't blame
it. Yeah, they're definitely up there. And if we want, I think their sale has been announced for this Thursday. I think they're going to have their March Madness sale. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think Frank Tarzi mentioned it on their last podcast, their Shelf Life podcast. He said that they have a March Madness sale coming up. So
I might take part in that because there's a couple. I have a list of some films from them that I want to pick up. Like, I want to watch, or not pick up. I want to buy Inherent the Wind, High Noon, The Producers, To Live and Die in L.A., Serpico. There's just films like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
want to own, but I've been waiting for a sale. But I always thought it was in June. I didn't realize they had a March Madness
Oh,
too.
they
That's
do a
awesome.
bunch of different ones throughout the year. But yeah, I mean, they have Winter Wonderland. They probably have a June one and then the March one. Yeah. So,
Take part in
I mean,
that.
that's what I was told. So, I mean, we'll find out on Thursday.
This is true. Unless they keep pushing it back, because I know that was the case with the Criterion sale. Which, speaking of which, I literally, when I got home, it's funny because I remember I was supposed to get my Criterions on Saturday, and you were supposed to get yours on Monday. And it's funny because it was in reverse. You got yours Saturday. I didn't get mine until I came through the door like an hour ago.
Okay.
So I just literally unboxed mine, and I
Oh,
figured
I should have saved the box. It would look more impressive if I had the box.
well, because I know when we were talking, we were like, "Oh yeah, we could do unboxing." So I was like,
I
"Okay, I'll
recognize a couple of those. All right. Okay, you got some good taste.
try." But yeah,
All right.
we could go back and
So
forth. Like you show one, I'll show
old to
one.
new, or how are we doing it? We're going back and forth.
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. Like you show one. Doesn't matter the order, but you
Okay,
know,
I'll
but
see
you
if
can
I
go
can go
first.
by spine number because oh,
You
that's
know what?
interesting.
I'll follow suit. We'll do spine number. Let me do
All right,
that.
so if we're gonna go spine number, this one actually goes a little bit lower, and this one goes a little bit higher. Okay, all right, so I'm set.
You're set. All right, I'll let you go first.
All right, so my first pick, it's a low spine number, but it's a fairly new release, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I never bought it from Criterion in all the years that it was available. So when they announced the 4K, I was very, very excited to get, drum roll, The Wages of Fear,
Ooh, I like that one.
Henri Georges Clouzot, and um, and I'll be equally excited to pick up the Criterion of
The remake.
Sorcerer, which is the American remake by William Friedkin. I mean, I just love this story. You got to turn the lights all the way down, and
Mm-hmm.
this is something I saw when I was in film school, and it never left me. So, Wages of Fear is my first pick, and I
I
think
need
we
to
both have
rewatch.
5 movies, right?
Um, so, so technically, yes. One of them is like a combo pack where it has
Okay.
3 movies, but technically, yes.
Okay. All right.
Um, Great choice though. I need to rewatch that. I saw it in early 2018, and I finally saw Sorcerer like a couple months ago, and I loved it. So I do want to rewatch though The Wages of Fear because I
Yeah.
remember
I mean, for
liking
those who don't know, it's about these guys. They have to drive through these treacherous terrain, a bunch of nitroglycerin, which is the ingredient in dynamite,
it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got to get across the country, and it's just they hit every bump, the whole thing could explode,
It's
and
tense.
it's a very intense movie, one of the best movies ever made. So I was happy to get that one.
Mine is completely different. So mine is similar to yours though in regards to the spine number. It's so low, but this is such a recent 4K release, and that is The Last Emperor.
Oh yeah,
So this is one that I've been wanting to pick up on Blu-ray for a while, but something about it told me that there was going to be a 4K for it, and thankfully my wishes were answered, and that was the case. And I'm so excited to rewatch this film because I don't know if you've seen this film, but this is one of the most gorgeous films ever. It is impeccably shot, and I think it's one of the few films to win all the nominations that it was nominated for. Like it was nominated for
Mm.
9 awards at the Oscars, and it won all 9, which is insane because it's like an international film. Actually, I think
Bernardo
technically it's not.
Bertolucci.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. If you get a chance, I highly recommend you check this film out. I
Yeah,
think it's on
I
HBO.
have it on Blu-ray, but not the 4K.
Oh,
So that's another one. I mean, that's going to look amazing in 4K.
oh yeah.
So I mean, it is sumptuous. It's the colors and all that stuff. Is just amazing with it, and it's got some great extras on it too.
Yeah, I think
One
there's new ones too.
oh wow. Well, I mean, one of the extras I had it on DVD, and I had to keep the DVD because it didn't port over everything from the DVD. That my
Really?
understanding. I didn't AB it, but I think there's one extra that's on the DVD that did not make it to the Blu-ray. They might have brought it back over to the 4K. I'm not sure, but
I don't know. Does the Blu-ray have both cuts? Because I know this has.
I think it does. Yeah.
It does. Oh, okay. Because I didn't realize that if the Blu-ray had it, but yeah, they have the 218-minute television version, but apparently they didn't do a restoration for that. So I'll just stick with the theatrical cut, which is the one that won Best Picture. So works out.
Well, no, I think that's great. I'm just looking to see if I have it here. I do not. You know, but that's a great one. Yeah. Well, and what's the spine number on that? It's like 100.
422.
422. Okay,
Yeah.
so then I got to move over to. I mean, there might be some like people watching. Like if I just yell out the spine number, they know I'm automatically.
They know. Yeah.
They could. It's possible. 709 is my next pick.
Oh boy.
And this is one that I've been wanting for a while, and it's been coming up a lot in conversation. I teach a class called Race and Ethnicity in Film, and this showed up in one of the documentaries, so I put it on my list. Red River, starring John Wayne, directed by Howard Hawks, and you know, it has some it's about, you know, basically homesteaders that are stealing land from Mexicans, you know, but it's not framed that way. It's framed as John Wayne as the hero, and he and his sons, he and his two sons are helping to take the West and manifest destiny and all that American stuff. But if you read between the lines, these guys are pretty brutal in the way that they do things. So I wanted to have that close by in the collection, be able to watch it whenever I want to. So I was excited about that one. And this has, I think, 2 versions of the film on it as well. The Blu-ray has it's 2K restoration of the original theatrical release, the rarely presented original theatrical release version, the preferred cut of director Howard Hawks, and then the 2K digital restoration of the longer pre-release version. So
I wonder if it was because of the Hays Code.
It's maybe 1948. It's very possible.
Yeah.
You know, Warner did a good job. I think this was a Warner MGM United Artists. Okay, so forget what I just said. I mean, a lot of stuff. They kept the pre-release versions. I think there's a what's the Humphrey Bogart movie? Is anybody in the chat? Casablanca, I think, had Big Sleep had a pre-release version and a regular version as well, you know. So it's always interesting to see what got kept and what got cut, you know, when they did bother to preserve the early cuts of a movie. And I think there's another one that's a Warner, I can't think of it, where they have 2 versions of the same film.
They're usually pretty good with that.
Yeah, I mean that's always exciting, you know. But
good pickup,
you know, yeah, thank you. What's your next one? What's your spine number?
So mine is spine number 545.
Oh, 545.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you have this one, Easy Rider.
Oh yeah. I have it in the box set though, so I don't know which version that is.
So apparently it's weird because on Blu-ray.com it said it was a 4K restoration, but I'm looking at it now and it says restored high definition digital transfer. So it's Blu-ray, but I'm okay with it. I've been wanting to rewatch this because 5 Easy Pieces, I finally saw that last year and I loved it. And I just feel like it's such a great companion piece to Easy Rider. Like in many ways, I know that film came out, I think it was a year after this film. But in many ways, I feel like that's a prequel to this film.
Really?
It feels like it. It just feels like it. Especially if you've seen the film, like the very end of it, it feels like it.
I'm just looking. Things move around so much.
But this is one of the most influential American films, that's for sure.
I
This was
love it.
how game changing it was in 1969.
Yeah, well, it's been out for a while. That's why it has a low spine number because it's part of that BTS. I think it was called box set for a long time. The only way you could get Easy Rider was in this box set of Easy Rider, Head by the Monkees. It was all these movies that were um, doing produced by Bert Schneider, and Easy Rider was the thing that kicked it off.
Oh
You
wow.
know, they did, but it was a very nice box set because it compiled all these early 70s independent films that were released by Columbia Pictures. But I think the Monkey's Head might have been the first one that in the deal, and then Easy Rider right after, or vice versa. But yeah, I mean we show that in my American independent film class,
Good
Easy
choice.
Rider. And we talk about how game changing it was in terms of the fact that it made so much money. It opened up the
Mhm.
youth markets of the major studios, and black exploitation follows that as well. With Sweet Sweetback is right after that. In
Yeah, that
terms
was like a year later, right? I believe.
about a year later, but Easy Riders kicked the doors down and ushered in a whole wave of young filmmakers. Dennis Hopper being one of them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just a great movie, and it's and the soundtrack is incredible. I have a copy of the vinyl over there I picked up recently because I just love the soundtrack. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's one.
Thanks, man.
That's one that should not stand the shrink wrap for long.
No, I'm probably gonna rewatch it on Saturday. I between you and me and people in the chat, I saw a certain film by a certain director, and that inspired me to want to rewatch Inherent Vice. So Saturday, I'm probably gonna pair Inherent Vice with Easy Rider.
That's
So
P.T. Anderson. Is that?
yeah.
That was kind of an interesting little movie. Inherent Vice. I kind of fell off the Paul Thomas Anderson bandwagon fairly
Oh really?
quickly. Fairly quickly. I mean, his early stuff like Hard Eight, Sydney, I thought was just amazing, and then obviously
Boogie
Boogie
Nights.
Nights
Yeah.
um, enchanted me. But later Paul Thomas Anderson stuff just seems very self-indulgent. And Inherent Vice, I should probably watch it again because when I first saw it, I really had a tough time trying to figure out what he was
What was
going
going
for.
on?
I feel like he'd overdosed on Long Goodbye and was trying to do his interpretation of like this
The Long
sort of
Goodbye.
hero that protagonist that nothing really happens to, but yeah, Inherent Vice.
I need to watch The Long Goodbye, and yeah, Inherent Vice. I was thinking about that, but all I will
Yeah.
say is, because I signed an NDA, all I will say is this is old PTA. So when it comes out in
Okay.
6 months, check it out. That's all I'm gonna say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and well, Long Goodbye is worth seeing. That's a Kino Lorber, and I watched it recently. It's different. And it's a lot of fun. I think what's also great about Long Goodbye is the use of locations in that film. I mean, like where he lives and seeing LA at night and all that kind of stuff adds a whole nother layer to the film
And it's a
beyond
neo noir,
Raymond
right?
Chandler. It's the Raymond Chandler plot, but it's Robert Altman almost like almost like a meta um detective story.
Oh,
It's got a huge cult following for a lot of reasons, but it's definitely worth seeing.
I
All
have
right,
it on my
so
watch list.
yeah, my next one,
Drum roll.
1180.
11. Oh wow. I think I know what this is.
Well, almost bought it when I saw you, and I talked myself out of it. Then the next sale, I had it in my cart, and I took it out of when Barnes and Noble had it. And I was like, I can wait. What's
This
the
is
rush?
definitely Thelma and Louise. I knew it. I knew it. Such a good movie.
It is, and I'd had to bite the bullet because it always comes up. I'm teaching this semester at Temple, um, race and ethnicity in film, and we got an extra week, and the textbook we use also deals with gender and gender roles. So I said, well, let me watch this again. Maybe this is something that I can include in my coursework, right? So that's number one, and then it's a 4K. So at this point, it's not going to get re-released again from Criterion, and
Definitely not. It's so
it's been a couple decades since I've seen it. So I said, all right, I bit the bullet. Thelma and
It's such a
Louise.
good looking cover too. Yeah, that's
It's good.
in my opinion. That's one of Ridley Scott's best. I think he did such a good job with that film.
He's made a lot of great films too. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited about that one. And it's for those who don't know, it's got a short film by Ridley Scott, his first short film, and some early commercials, um, music videos, trailers. They went all in on this one. So if every Criterion release could be at this caliber, I would just have to double the size of the wall because I just love them. But yeah.
So my next one, this is one of those trilogies that I've only seen the first one of this, but I texted out to you, but at the
Oh,
same
you
time,
told me already. I know the answer. Okay, I can't.
you know this, but actually
Yeah.
pronouncing it, I'm like, oh great. So
Yeah,
I
go
got the I know I'm gonna butcher this.
Kotze.
Is it Kotze?
Kotze, Kayana Scotzi. Oh, maybe it's Scott Kotze, Power Kotze, Kayana Scotzi, and what's the middle one?
Nikotze.
Night Kotze. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
beautiful films.
the order, yeah. I've only seen Koyaanisqatsi.
Kayana Scotzi.
That one. Funny story. How I came across the first one was the one track in Watchmen when Dr. Manhattan's being created.
Mm-hmm.
The music always struck me. Like, I'm like, this is a gorgeous track, but I always thought it was from Watchmen. I didn't realize that it was a pre-existing track. And when I found out it wasn't from actually Watchmen, it was from a pre-existing track, I tracked it down and I realized, oh, it's from this movie. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to check it out. And I watched it. I'm like, holy cow, this is such a great film. And I know it's part of the trilogy, so I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to buy all three. So I know that it's an HD transfer, all three.
Mm-hmm.
But what are the odds of a documentary trilogy that's going to get a 4K restoration from Criterion? So I bit the bullet, and I'm hoping that the other two that I like, but if not, at least I love the one.
Philip Glass did the music, and Godfrey Reggio was the director, and he I believe he was like a former monk at some point in his life before he became a filmmaker. He was a very religious guy, and he just set out on his own. This is like back in the early 80s, the first movie came out, Kayana Scotzi, and it means life out of balance. And it's like Philip Glass music, like new age synthesizer music, corresponding to these weird, like, films, like shot at different speeds, slow motion, fast motion kind of stuff, just showing different aspects of the world at work, but he had I remember watching the making of on that one, and he had a very clear mission, what he wanted to say with his work, and he's a genius in that respect. I mean, he also has a movie called Baraka, which a lot of people like as well, and maybe that'll come out from but he goes all over the world with these cameras and captures these amazing images and then puts them to music. And, he's just incredible set of film. I know you're going to enjoy that one. So, yeah.
I'm excited because I liked his first one, and I'm all about visual storytelling, and the first one was all about that. And I love two most important aspects of filmmaking for me are cinematography and score. And the first one was all about that, and I've heard the other two are as well. So I'm like, I think I'm in good hands. I think
you're
one
fine.
by the other two are it's going to be fine.
You're fine.
What's the next one for you, though?
Got two left. Okay, well, this is the one that's created a little bit of controversy in my life. But I mean, it was a no-brainer when it was announced. It was like, okay, I got to get it. You know, it's like, all right, again, I got to get it. But it's the first time on 4K, first time on Blu-ray, and it's Spine number 1247. You know, my favorite artist outside of James Brown is Richard Pryor. Right, so the very first Richard Pryor release on Criterion is JoJo Dancer.
I've seen that the Criterion cover. I haven't seen the film though.
Yeah, that's an amazing cover. I mean, this is stellar work. And you know, but basically, it doesn't really offer that much new for me as a huge Richard Pryor fan. I was hoping that they would find the making of JoJo Dancer and put it on here, which was a short half-hour documentary that was done by Roy Campanella II back in the day. It's an electronic press kit that corresponds with the making of JoJo Dancer, or some contemporary interviews, you know, from the time that he made the film. And I guess this 1985 episode of the Dick Cavett Show that's on here, which I've seen already, is as close to that as you can get. But you know, this is a great film. It's his autobiography, basically. And it was something he did when he had a deal with Columbia Pictures. You know, he had a company called Indigo Pictures, and he would have been the first sort of Black movie mogul. He was such a successful actor, they gave him his own sort of label deal back then. Like, he could produce any movies. He had the power to green light any movie under a certain amount of money. And he had Jim Brown was his president of the company, and certain scripts came to them, including The Color Purple and Purple Rain. But Richard Pryor also had, you know, No Secrets, you know, a big drug addiction, and he was more interested in being in front of the camera than behind the camera after his experience making JoJo Dancer. He turned the deal down. All those movies went in the turnaround that he had, and they ended up being huge successes elsewhere. So
I didn't know
JoJo
that.
Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Yeah, and they don't tell you this when you watch the movie, unfortunately. I would have loved if they had included just a small mini documentary about Indigo Pictures to put the film in its historical context, you know, but you know, it's in 4K. I'm excited.
I'm surprised they didn't, because I know Criterion's usually really good with a lot of bonus features and everything. So you would think that they would have had that, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote a note to Richard Pryor's Instagram, and they said that they could not find a master quality copy of the documentary, you know, which happens to be on my channel, but and I got it from another YouTuber, probably was what got me in trouble. But you know, for a long time, that was like one of my holy grail movies, was like, where's the making of JoJo Dancer? You know, and I searched high and low for it, and eventually it popped up on YouTube. So we shared it on my channel, but it's also on another channel or two on YouTube. So yeah, but JoJo Dancer, that was the one I was most excited about for the sale. That was the thing I had circled when it came out, and I was waiting for the day that they put it on sale. So
I'll have to check it out.
yeah,
Now that I'm
basically
aware
got it for free because I had
Oh,
two
you did?
coupons. Well, they sent me a coupon in December because I subscribed to the streaming platform that Criterion has. I had gift certificates, so I had $20 worth of coupons saved up. So thank you, Criterion Collection, you know, for taking care of the subscriber base in that way. You know, it's a good
They are nice with that. I just got, actually, because of this haul, I have a $50 gift card for Criterion. So yeah, I know. I'm like, the next time that there's a sale on the website, I'm
box
gonna
set time.
take advantage of that. But
Box set time. That's when you get $50, you can get yourself a nice box.
no, Igmar Bergman, I think that's when I might buy the set, because I've been putting that off. I wanna rank his work, but the problem is I own the Seventh Seal, but I don't own any of his other work because I've been putting off buying that set because
It's pricey.
it's It's the thing too. It's pricey. So my next two, they're both blind buys.
Okay.
You might have. I don't know if you've seen either of these, but this one, it's spine number 825.
Oh, still low in the numbers, but so it's not, unless it's a 4K reissue.
No,
Is it a comedy?
No, it's martial arts. I'll say that.
Jackie Chan?
Mm-hmm.
You got me. I don't know. 800. Wow. What were they doing back then?
A Touch of Zen. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I heard that it's one of the most influential martial arts films. Like this, and spoiler alert, the other film that I have, they're both two films that I've heard are groundbreaking in regards to like martial arts filmmaking. So I just decided that I was going to buy both. This one was kind of like risky because it's 180 minutes long. And I'm like, it's a long movie. Yeah. And I've heard from some people that it is very complicated. So I'm going in knowing all of that, but I'm hoping I like it. It's a 4K restoration. And
what year did it come out? I've never even heard of it.
1971. It's in Mandarin.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it is early. It's early, but it sounds like it's a high end. It's not like Shaw Brothers or something like that.
Yeah, no. This for those in the comments, again, I'm not going to spoil my final one, but I will say I think they're from the same director. I'm like 99.9% sure. And they're both two of the most influential martial arts films. But I'm excited to watch this. Touch of Zen. I don't know. The cover just really grabbed me. And then when I read the premise and I saw some of my fellow Letterboxd peers were raving about it, I was like, all right, but
you have to let me know. I mean, I'm always game. I mean, a lot of times I get stuff just for the bonus features. I just noticed that we have a lot of people in the chat. A lot of people.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we go to our final films, let's check the comments. So the first comment we have Ellie Brown. I'm guessing that's one of your subscribers?
Yeah, that's one of my mod people. L, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so she came over. Welcome to Chad's room.
And of course, Mike's.
Molly's here somewhere too, but
I know my dog Dexter, he's somewhere. Okay. Andrew Lay, hello world. Andrew, one of the biggest Lord of the Rings fans. I'm kidding. He doesn't like Lord of the Rings. But we always joke around because he's from New Zealand and he doesn't like it.
That's funny. I've never seen Lord of the Rings movie. So
you've never seen Lord of the Rings?
Never seen Lord of the Rings. Never saw Harry Potter. I haven't watched. What else was big? I mean, I've seen maybe 3 Fast and Furious movies.
That's enough. That's enough.
not my flavor of popcorn. Some of. I mean, this is like. When they say come back next summer and we'll tell you the rest of the story, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
You're like, I am done. If you stop after 5, like if you stopped at 5, you're good.
But I respect Peter Jackson. I like his body of work, but I just haven't seen that one.
Me too.
That's it. Yeah.
If you get a chance, I would recommend the 4K. Andrew is sad that Sergey isn't here because I want to tell him that I finished his Letterboxd top 4 by accident. That's funny. Yeah, he's got a good top 4. Film Kid says, hey, I was planning on watching Persona a little bit. Is the pacing good? I've only seen it once, and I will say that you have to be in a certain mood because it is glacially paced, but it is an absorbing film. It's a psychological drama, and in some ways it helped inspire Fight Club. But I like it. It's definitely worth your time. Have you seen it, Mike? Persona?
I haven't. I got maybe when it first got announced, I got that Bergman box, and I got the Varda box. I got the Fellini box. I've only watched the Fellini box and maybe 3 movies in the Varda box. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. It's like Bergman is considered one of the greatest filmmakers ever to live.
Yes.
But you have to be in a certain mood for him. And
like Tarkovsky.
One I've gotten to yet.
It's like Tarkovsky. You have to be in a certain mindset for him. Otherwise, it's going to be very boring. But
Well, I was given permission. You know, there's a guy, you're in the cinematographers, you might appreciate this story. So Bradford Young came to Philly.
oh,
You know, he shot a lot of stuff. He shot Selma for Ava DuVernay, and he's the what was the movie The Arrival for Denis Villeneuve, and you know, he shot a lot of great stuff. He's a very talented cinematographer, and he learned about Tarkovsky from going to film school. And you know, it's like a ritual was, you know, who could stay awake the longest during a Tarkovsky, and they said, yeah, you know, they'd be like 3 hours long. He said they'd be like 3 hours long, and they'd start them at midnight, and we just watch them until we fell asleep, and then we wake up and see the rest of it, and it was like it didn't matter. It was just such a beautiful film, you know. So, with that in mind, The Sacrifice is
beautiful
coming
film.
out from Kino Lorber in 4K.
Oh,
This
is it?
in 4K, yeah. Sacrifice, and I think Solaris. I moved it.
This is going to be a huge hot take, but I
Sure.
own Solaris.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a hot take. I actually like the remake more.
Really?
Believe it
Wow.
or not, I know. That's sacrilegious to say a Soderbergh film is better than a Tarkovsky film, but yeah, I really liked.
Okay, so
Really
then
surprised I
what's
liked
your
that
take
remake.
on the remake of Psycho? Was that Soderbergh as well?
That was Gus Van Sant.
Oh, Van Sant did it. Never mind.
Surprisingly.
Okay, never mind. My comparison doesn't hold water.
Yeah, that's one of the worst remakes I've ever seen. That was terrible. That was bad.
Yeah, I don't know why they
That
would
was
give
bad.
permission. Well, they did. It had such success with Psycho 2, 3, and 4 that I guess they said, well, you know, let's see what Van Sant can do. You know, so
Let's see what Vince Vaughn will do as Norman Bates.
yeah.
Film Kit also says, also I'm extremely jealous of you, Chad. I don't necessarily want to bring up why, but you should know why. Yeah, he's talking about the the NDA with what I was discussing earlier. Because on
Okay. I
Letterboxd,
think I know what's going on, but I mean, you know,
yeah,
I can wait 6 months to find out. So
yeah, because on Letterboxd, you're not allowed to write anything positive or negative. You can't even write the stars. All you can really say is that you saw it and that you have an NDA. So
fair enough.
that's all I can say. But yeah, I'm very fortunate that I happened to see on, I think it was Facebook, I saw that it was going to be a couple hours away, and I'm like, it's a PTA film. It's my second most anticipated film of the year. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna venture out. Like, and
Yeah.
it was quite an experience. But I got back real late. I didn't go to bed until like 1, and I had to wake up at like 5:30. So I am beat from last night, but at the same time, it was so worth it.
Oh, can I make a quick announcement to your fans, because I know everybody's
Yes.
watching from all over the place. Debating what it brings up. You say 2 hours away. I'm on the fence. Like Claude Lelouch is coming to Film Forum on
Oh,
April 14th. I think it's a Friday, either the 4th or the 14th, to show A Man and a Woman. And I'm like, the guy's got to be way up there in age. It's like, you know, he's got a new movie coming out, or just played in Cannes, and they're doing a retrospective. I'm like, I want to go to that. But I mean, so I may be in New York for that, New Yorkers. But if you're in New York, Brooklyn specifically, this coming Wednesday, I'll be at Brooklyn Academy of Music. They're going to be showing The Mac in 35 millimeter with Richard Pryor and Max Julian. And
wow.
yeah, so, and Alfreda Cinema, Melissa Lyde asked me to speak about film preservation after the screening. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm excited to be in New York again. And so if you're in New York and you want to hang out, there's a taco spot across the street from Brooklyn Academy of Music, and my plan is to get some tacos and talk movies after that event. So that's this coming Wednesday, the 26th, and that information's on my Instagram. So,
And I have his information, what's it called, in the description
in the
box. Be sure
description
to.
at ReelBlack. I mean, you know, you'll see it.
I put both. Yeah, I put 1 and 2, just so that way they
Appreciate it.
can subscribe to both your
Please
channels.
do.
But Yeah, that's got to be a great experience, though, just to be able to talk about film preservation and how important it is. And especially since, not to go on my soapbox, but especially since when you watch a movie on streaming, it's such a diluted quality. So quality doesn't really matter as much to people anymore when it comes to films. And it's a shame, but thankfully, people like you and I, we care about that. So it's like for you, especially, to go out of your way to talk about it and why it's so important.
Well,
It's
it
great.
ties in. I'm starting a video label, and we're acquiring titles now to release in the fall and beginning of next year. So, um, what I'm discovering firsthand is how in danger so many movies are from because they haven't made the jump from DVD to Blu-ray to 4K, and prints are getting lost, vinegared. Especially independent films, or maybe they were shot mini DV and the hard drive that all the data was on is rotted, and it's just, gonna go. So I think it's very important to preserve these films and make as many copies as possible in the best quality possible so that they don't get lost, especially when they're non-studio releases. So the Mac happened to be made independently, so it was very, very difficult to get a print to screen. I believe they pulled from New Beverly's print. Tarantino's personal print, I think, is
Oh
what they're
wow,
showing on in New York on Wednesday. But yeah,
that's exciting, man.
yeah,
And yeah, even honestly, even studio films, though. I mean, you hear stuff about what happened with the Wile E. Coyote movie, where it was just like they, with the click of a button, they wanted to delete it, and they did that with like the Batgirl movie. It's
wow,
kind of insane, just how business. It used to be that there would be people that were in business, but they also happen to love movies, and now it's just like the people that are in business, they just care about business, and they look at movies as products as opposed to art.
yeah,
So
IP.
yeah, if it's not IP, then it's not going to sell, and we don't want it. And it's sad. Ah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
sad.
I think it'll be a lively conversation. I mean, you can talk. I can talk about it. When it comes to movies, I'm extremely passionate. So I'm
Me too.
whatever direction the conversation ends up going in, it'll be fun. But I'm looking most forward to tacos
I mean, honestly, you can't
across the
go wrong with
street.
tacos.
But Wednesday night, Brooklyn Academy of Music, the Mac,
What time is it?
7 p.m. Eastern
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
Eastern. Yeah,
$17, I think, is what the tickets are costing. It might be 20 with the service fee.
it's not bad considering that you get not only the film and it's a film print, which is something that's rare because a lot of times it's digital
Mhm.
production, but you also afterwards get educated on film preservation. That's
Yeah,
something a lot of people probably aren't
going
aware about.
it's a going rate over there. So it's a very
Oh, and
nice space. So I'm I don't have to pay.
oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I'm not worried about it. But if you want to come, don't be like picking through your change. No, bring what is it, a sawbuck or two tens or whatever. Bring your $20. Bring another 10 for popcorn. Have fun with us.
And then another 20 for tacos.
40 for parking. It could end up being an expensive night unless you take the subway.
Film Kid also says I also got a 2001 and a Monty Python shirt. That's awesome. I have a 2001 A Space Odyssey shirt, and I'm
Okay.
planning to wear it because it's sad to say, but I've actually never seen a film on film projection. My first film that's going to be on a film projection is going to be 2001 A Space Odyssey, 70 millimeter. I'm so
Wow.
excited. I'm so excited.
That's so cool. Well, it's an experience.
Yeah. One
I
of my
saw
favorite things.
2001 at school for the first time I saw it. It was a 35 millimeter projection. And
Oh,
that,
wow.
I mean, it's a great movie. I love it. But that's another one like a Tarkovsky, you can kind of fade in and fade out on 2001, in my opinion. But
Really?
it's a beautiful film. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
you stay glued to it. I mean, it was one of like, I mean, people were into Star Trek and sci-fi at that time, and I'm sure the production design was landmark, but
and it's held up amazingly well too. It's insane. That and like Blade Runner are the two sci-fi films that I look at and I'm like, just groundbreaking. I mean, don't get me wrong, Metropolis, we would have had 2001: A Space Odyssey and Blade Runner if not for Metropolis, but I just think 2001: A Space Odyssey was like the next big step for production design and like visual effects and just also art house sensibilities in the mainstream.
okay, all right. I mean, I like Cooper. I have it out. I was going to watch it last week and I just didn't get around to it. I need to watch it again. So where's 2001 going to be playing? Is that secret news too? Or?
No. It's Bryn Mawr Film Institute.
Okay, that's not far from me.
Oh yeah, you should come. It's going to be, I think it's April 26th. They're showing, I think it's this month. They're showing Raiders of the Lost Ark in 35 millimeter, which is also one of my favorite films. But I just rewatched it, so I'm just going to see 2001. But if Lawrence of Arabia comes out in 70 millimeter, there, I'm definitely going to check that out.
Okay, wow, yeah. I got the they reissued the 4K. And I was able to pick it up, and it's beautiful. Oh my god,
it is. It's such
they,
a gorgeous film.
I mean, they did the right amount of cleanup work with that thing. It's not too clean, and it's not too like grainy. I mean, and the vistas, and it's just
so good.
You know,
that
I mean,
that
that's a high level recommendation. That Columbia Pictures 4K of Lawrence of Arabia.
It's honestly one of the best physical media releases, in my opinion, just with how much bonus features you have, and then also how they really leave room for the disc to breathe because it's 2 parts, 2 discs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really smart decision because I think they used 100 gigabyte discs, but still, wow. I mean, if you had the whole film on there, I think it would be crammed in. So then I feel like the compression would be off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and it makes sense because there was a natural intermission back then in those movies.
That's true.
So yeah, it was good. Who Film Kid still?
Yeah, he says I also saw the Alta Nights and it was a pretty good mob film. I still need to watch that. I know that's the one where it's Robert De Niro. He's I think it's Twin Brothers. Are you gonna be seeing that one, do you think, Mike?
It's new to me. I mean, I've been busy with class and then just trying to get this label off the ground. I'm not even aware of what's coming out this spring or summer.
I get it.
I like De Niro. I like mob pictures. So, I mean, my habit now, I mean, this, Chad, is, I fall asleep during the movies all the time. So I just found it's a better bargain for me to wait for it to come out on physical media and spend my $20 then, as opposed to going to see it in the theater and missing half of it and feeling like I need to see it again. So, and fortunately, I have the space to be able to accommodate that kind of viewing habit. But yeah, I mean, for me, that's how I justify the habit. It's like, okay, well, I used to go pay when movies were like $7, it wasn't a big deal. But when they went over $10-12, it just made more sense for me to own it. I don't even like to stream stuff. I mean, I'll watch Wicked because everybody's talking about it, but stream.
I didn't
know.
I mean, the cinematography. It looks so way too digital looking. Not a fan of the lighting, even just the camera work. The VFX, I personally wasn't a fan of. There was a lot of sequences where you could tell that it was 100% CGI, or you could tell when it was the layover from CGI to practical or vice versa. But I know I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people love Wicked, but I gave it a second chance and I liked it less.
Well, Wicked is like the Wizard of Oz. What do you think of that new cover for Criterion on The Wiz?
I liked it, but honestly, I wasn't aware about The Wiz until you mentioned it. But now that you've mentioned it, I'm like, I want to check it out. Like, it seems like something that would be intriguing.
It's a fun movie. It's a long movie. It's a little slow, but I mean, where else are you going to get Richard Pryor, Lena Horne, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, all in the same movie. You
Yeah,
know,
it's quite a
it's
catch.
one. You know, I still hold, if that movie had been a blockbuster success in the way that Jaws was, or Close Encounters around the same time, that black movies would have gone to a whole nother level instead of just basically dying off the TV. Now, that being said, there's a argument that there was a conspiracy to stop making black films for theaters after Hollywood recovered from its slump. You know, that they wanted to make more mainstream movies that incorporated um, black and white actors in the same film. So they kind of cherry picked the big stars from those movies and put them in mainstream films. But I
It
still think
doesn't.
if Wiz was big, it would have been a big game changer for everything.
It seems like a valid conspiracy because if you think about it in terms of film history, late 60s and then it was like the 70s was like the peak of like black cinema.
Yeah.
And then it was like the 80s, especially if you look at American cinema, there just wasn't as many, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head, versus 1970s.
Maybe one a year until She's Gotta Have It broke, you know, from 80 to 86, 87, it flattened out.
And then 89 was Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, 89 picks up, and 91 was the big year. 91 ushers in the golden era of black cinema. But that's, you know, for another podcast. You know, we can talk about that another time.
That's
Where are we now? Are we at the drum roll, please? This, I could kind of stop with JoJo Dancer, but this is a movie that I saw, number 1252. This is a movie I saw when I used to work at the video library, and I really enjoyed it at the time. I was into British cinema. I love British music, and this was the acting debut of Mick Jagger, you know, who was, you know, it still is the head of the Rolling Stones. I'm a big Rolling Stones fan, and you know, for a long, I used to collect bootlegs, and they had a Memo from Turner was a big record for Mick. It was like a solo record. It wasn't a Rolling Stones record, so you couldn't find it on Rolling Stones albums. So that was my introduction, the performance of Mick Jagger doing Memo from Turner to the movie Performance. Right. So not 100% blind buy, but I haven't seen this movie in decades, and I love British movies from this time period, which is like 1969ish or 1970 in this case.
Oh, wow.
You could show me anything British music or British film, and I'll be interested in it from the late 60s, early 70s. You know, so Performance is my last pick.
I'll need to check that out.
Yeah,
British cinema is something that I definitely have a lot of respect for, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much British cinema from like the 60s, early 70s, but one of my favorite films in general is Transpotting. And I just love that film. Like Iggy Pop, like I think that was my introduction to Iggy Pop, and I'm just like, wow, this is quite a soundtrack. Just such a great film. I love it.
For Life. Yeah, 1995, right?
Is it 95? No, 96, I think. I believe.
96.
Yeah,
okay.
96. Yeah, it got one Oscar nomination. I think it was Best Adapted Screenplay, Adapted Screenplay. But that's a great film, and it gets better each viewing. Although the Criterion, I hate the casing. The casing it sticks out from all the other Blu-rays and 4Ks, and it's a mess. My final one, it is Spy number 937. It is a 4K digital restoration, but it's a Blu-ray, not a 4K, and it's Dragon Inn.
Okay, same packaging.
Yep, same packaging as yeah.
So they go together. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So what I'm nervous about is if I watch the one and I'm like, oh, I'm not a fan of this director, and I'm like, oh man, and then I'm like, I just got the same director, but I don't know. I have a gut feeling, especially because I hear that they inspired like Crouching Tiger, and I love Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, so I'm like, I have a good feeling, but it seems like packaging wise, it's it's the typical Criterion, but in terms of Blu-ray special features, there's some interviews. Most recent one was 2016 with the one actor, and there was also a scene analysis, which is interesting. And then the original trailer, and this is also in Mandarin. So excited. So for me, this is like my haul.
Okay.
It's a mix of blind buys and yeah. For those that are joining in.
I gotta catch up with you there.
I know, I feel like a deck of cards.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think I'm rich or anything. I just love collecting movies. I don't spend my money on very much else,
Same.
But here's Molly. Except her. She's like, "What about me? Come on. You gotta say hello."
I would bring my dog up, but he's 85 pounds.
Oh, yeah, she's jumping away. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna ask you though, what you thought about the Oscars? I watched them, but I hadn't seen that many movies that were nominated or up for anything.
So I'll break it down like this. Anora was my number 8 in terms of my ranking of those 10 Best Picture nominees. So I'm happy for Sean Baker. I have the utmost respect for him. Like, he's the reason why I, made my own films, because I saw that a director made a film on an iPhone. I'm like, that's inspirational. And his love for the theater experience, indie cinema, and him talking about it constantly when he was winning the Oscars, I was happy for him, and I'm glad that he was spreading the word. So I'm happy for the film. I think the film is good. Very happy for Sean Baker, and I think that it's going to bring more awareness to indie cinema.
Okay.
But I personally would have given it to, not that it would have happened, but I would have given it to The Substance or The Brutalist. This is going to be sacrilegious, but I think that Mikey Madison, she was great, but I think that 100% Demi Moore should have won for The Substance.
Okay, well, a lot of people felt like, who's Mikey Madison? Why didn't they give it to Cynthia Erivo so she could complete her EGOT?
I like her a lot as an actress, but I don't know. I mean, I think in terms of the nominees, I thought that she was like my number 4 or 5 of the 5. Like, she's good. She's good in it. But to be fair, I also felt that way about her.
Demi Moore should have gotten it. Okay, well, I could see that happening too. I was surprised. I mean, I didn't see The Brutalist, but
The Brutalist was great. I loved it.
So he was deserving of Best Actor?
Oh, yes. That speech went on for far too long. The movie flies by for me, but the speech did not. I'm like, how does a 6-minute speech feel longer than a 3.5-hour film? Okay, this is how it is.
They need to usher him off. So
they tried to, but then he's like, I've done this before. Like, let me talk for a little bit. And then he kept going. And I'm like, I don't know which is worse. Like, him just kissing Halle Berry without her permission, or him just constantly talking. Like, dude, come on, just 2 minutes. Like, everyone else gets to 2 minutes.
We need more movie stars. I guess Mikey Madison ushers in another wave, but I thought I was done looking at Adrian Brody a long time ago, and then he shows up in this Brutalist and wins another Oscar.
Are you gonna pick up the 4K on it? I think it's on A24's website.
Of The Brutalist, or
The Brutalist?
I haven't seen it. I know I want to get Anora, but I mean, now I know not to expect as much from it. Like, I'll just watch it. Like my friend that we met, Todd, he saw Anora.
Oh yeah,
he thought it was great. So based on his recommendation, I was just gonna buy it blind when the price drops. But and I'm not sure if I want to see restorations of Prince of Broadway and because those movies were shot very low res. Like, I don't know what they're doing with AI. Are they up-resing it? Is it going to look like junk? Like, I'm not sure what to do with those. Maybe you know, um, you know, I like Prince of Broadway, but I mean, I don't know if I need to re-up it, but Honora's a must, and then also Kill of Sheep in May is a must get for me. So I'm excited about some of the upcoming Criterions as
Releases.
well, but it's kind of late in the game, for Nora to be hitting video in basically May or June, right?
Well, what's interesting is that Nora is done by Neon, and Neon, I've noticed that they usually only put out 2K restorations for Criterion,
Mhm.
but Anora has a 4K restoration. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm holding out on Anatomy of a Fall. Like, I love the film, but I've been holding out because it got released on Blu-ray and it's just a 2K restoration. And I'm like, maybe at some point in time it will get a 4K restoration.
Well,
But
I'll tell you the one I'm really like pissed off. I'll get on my high horse, right? Like people came to see this kind of mic you're gonna see on Wednesday at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. Let me see if I can pull it real fast. This thing. I think this is it. Yeah, I'm good. Why is this only on DVD?
uh,
Oscar-winning film. Is somebody holding out? Is there a deluxe edition I don't know about?
you know, I hate when they do that. They do that sometimes with TV shows too, where they don't even
Mm,
bother releasing it on Blu-ray or 4K. Like Fargo, they did that with season 3 and 4, and then 5. They didn't even bother releasing it on physical media. But it's like, why?
right.
Just release it on Blu-ray. You guys act like it's so expensive a Blu-ray disc.
Well, I mean, you're watching it at home in high definition. Why can't that experience be made available to the people that want it? I guess libraries might be their primary target, but I mean, so we're talking about Summer of Soul for those who are like cooking or doing the dishes. It came out. I got this at Walmart. I'm like, why is this only available on DVD? So I would hope that somebody, a Criterion or somebody, would acknowledge the fact that this is an Oscar-winning film by a Black director about a very specific moment in time, and it needs to be preserved. Now, I understand that they're upresing it from um, old video material, but it was still shown in theaters in HD. So
Right.
there should be at least a Blu-ray of this with lots
Who's the
of
company that did it?
This is Fox Searchlight,
There's your
Hulu,
answer.
Hulu.
Yeah, there's your answer. Disney really doesn't have that much interest in physical media. Go
Mm.
figure. So there's some stuff like Barbarian that hasn't gotten a physical media release. So they're just it's annoying. They just don't really care about physical media. So that's why. As soon as you said that, I'm like, there's the answer because they don't
Just
really
dump it
release it.
out there. I thought somebody else might have had the rights to it, and that's what the holdup is. Um, that movie. I mean, we missed the anniversary of Spook Who Sat by the Door, but there's a 4K restoration of that floating around, so I suspect that'll be making it to physical media sometime this year. And the one I'm excited about most, that I hope makes it to physical media this year, would be the anniversary of House Party, which I was talking about on social media, trying to get drumming up interest. I mean, and I'm very interested in, for those who followed the campaign. I felt like I got a little momentum. Reggie Hudlin, the director of House Party, collaborated on one of the posts, and it got a lot of views. We're petitioning that House Party be released by the Criterion Collection, and to include the original short film of House Party that was made in 1983 in the package. So that's the ask. And if they don't do that, or whoever releases it, they've got to make it a deluxe edition. It's a very important film, and in terms of the black film movement of the 90s, it represents a lot of things in
And
terms of
Mike, they had
momentum.
an opportunity to release it because I remember I almost saw the House Party remake, but I didn't realize that there was the original House Party. So once I realized there was an original, I'm like, I'm just going to watch the original first. But then when I actually wanted to sit down and watch the original, it's very hard to find. It's not on streaming. It's, as far as I know, not on any physical media, unless maybe it was on DVD or VHS. But
yeah, pretty
for
much.
such an influential film, it's like, why is it so hard to find?
There's no reason why. You know, it's never made it to Blu-ray, and it's a New Line cinema. That's what gives me hope that Criterion would be able to get it, because New Line also put out Menace to Society.
Oh, that's a good point.
And what's the other one that they did? You know, Vashon hit me in the head for that one. But yeah, they have a connect. But I just saw over here the box set that I was talking about earlier with Easy Rider, the BBS. I called it a BBS story.
Oh, that's a nice box set.
Yeah, so that's where that's the original version of Easy Riders on here, and Last Picture Show also. So that's the digipack, but you got a nice score.
Yeah, I'm honestly glad with well, I guess I'll really find out in the next couple of weeks once I've seen all of these. But I mean, 2 of them I know I really love. Actually, 3 of them, but then the other 3 haven't seen yet. So, by the way, real quick, it looks like we still have a bunch of comments.
We got a couple more chats. We'll entertain the chat, and then we'll get out.
Yeah, Film Kid says, I'm a fairly new collector for Criterion, so my collection is pretty basic. It's all good, man. You got to start somewhere. Yeah. Nandy Johnson says, greetings, Mike, Chad. Chat 19 minutes in. Part of my tardiness. It's all good. What matters is you're here. LeBron says, hey, Nandy. Nandy Johnson says, hey, Ella. And Can't Articulate says, you really got me wanting to watch the new PTA film. All I'm going to say is 5. Connor Holt says, big bad chat in the house. Connor, good to hear from you. I look forward to seeing more of your reviews on Letterboxd. Film Kid Can't Articulate for real. Yeah. Ella Brown, number 825, drum roll. Yeah. Karate Kid. Karate Kid. Andrew Lay, does physical media exist for Severance? Because I just finished season 2 and I'm obsessed. Best show ever. I think the first season does. I don't know if they're going to do it for the second season, but I still need to watch that show. Rafael Lopez, thank you for the Dick Gregory content. I've absorbed it all.
Yeah.
Towards you.
Yeah, that deserves a 4K release, but maybe in another lifetime I'll get to it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Film Kid also got good news. There's a chance that I'll actually be able to see 2001 in 70mm because my aunt is willing to take me. Dude, that's awesome. I
gotta get the tickets now.
Yeah, I already got my tickets. I'm so pumped. Wow, bam. Geez, parking is the worst down there. Take the subway for sure. I'm curious if the theater expanded for season 2001 in 70mm will be at my experience of seeing Pulp Fiction in 35mm. I need to experience Pulp Fiction in 35mm.
Oh, I was there first day for Pulp Fiction. That was such an exciting moment. Yeah, first day. I mean, Pulp Fiction in the movie theater opening night, Get Out opening night.
That was something.
Django Unchained opening night. I mean, you're talking about movie experiences, in my lifetime. Those were some of the best.
Those are all great movies. I own all of them, actually. Ella Brown, is Mr. Woods attending? Just asking because he's in Brooklyn.
No, he won't be attending. And he lives in Yonkers, so it's kind of a hike. But I will see him while I'm in New York, and we're going to be creating new content for some of the Blu-ray releases that we have planned, as well as for the channel. So I'll check my Instagram. I'll make sure that I post up whatever we're doing while we're doing it. Me and Charles Woods. Yes. So the answer is no, but yes, I will see him.
Also, Film Kit says, which seeing Pulp Fiction 35 millimeter was life changing. So 2001 will probably be even more. I agree. I also watched The Noir and I thought it was pretty good. It was a little excessive though. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the point though, because it's following a sex worker.
Okay.
But I get that. Nanny Johnson years ago when Spike Lee told us to check your ticket after you buy one for any of his movies to ensure it's actually his picture. We knew something was amiss.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't
now
know
you're
that.
showing
Did he
your
really
age.
say that?
Well, that was a thing with Malcolm X. People were getting, they were checking their ticket stubs, and it was for other movies other than
Really?
Malcolm X. Yeah. So that, because, well, you understand why that was done back then. It was like Malcolm X was in the theater longer, so it would get, um, it's like a sliding scale with the theaters. Like the first week, they might take 90% of the box office, and then as it goes into like week 5, 6, 7, 8, they get less of a percentage.
Right.
So some unscrupulous theater owners would tell the ticket people to if somebody asked for Malcolm X, sell them a ticket for, I don't know, batteries not included, or something that's not doing as well, but they make more money off of it. And that was a practice. Now it's assigned seating, and you can really see what's going on a little bit more. But yeah, that was a thing at one point, and it was real.
Wild.
Yeah.
Speaking of Malcolm X, I was gonna buy Malcolm X on 4K, but you told me about Spike Lee's website and how you can get signed copies. So I'm
Yeah.
been checking daily for when it's going to be not
Oh, it's
sold
not
out.
back? It's sold
It's
out?
still sold out. So I'm like, you know what? Once it's back in stock immediately, I'm going to get that because
Yeah. Well, it's
that'd be
not a
really.
4K though, just so you know. It's just
Oh, I thought it was a 4K.
it's am I wrong?
I could have sworn it's a 4K. Yeah.
Look here. Is it UHD? This is not a signed copy. This is my viewing copy. Um Blu-ray 4K UHD. You're right. I'm getting it mixed up with Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing. The
I would have
4K.
gotten Do the Right Thing on like him signing that, but I already bought that like a couple years ago. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, missed out on
Yeah.
that. But Malcolm X, I haven't upgraded from the Warner Brothers Blu-ray to 4K yet. So I'm like, that's my chance to get a Spike Lee signed Malcolm X.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been itching to watch that film.
yeah, it's worth it. I mean, when they go, and then you can't get it anymore. So it's worth the uptick if it's $10 extra to get a signature. I'm a big autograph collector. I always recommend people go check out spikesjoint.com.
I definitely am glad that you told me about it. Also, I knew Long for Noir 2 Why Subconscious, Neptune Rules Films, Cameras, and Neptune Co Rules, Places with Jupiter and Neptune Rules, who's called Black Americans per the study I sat for. I mean, noir, I'm just fascinated by the lighting, the shadows, the different character interactions. And also I'm more into like, morally gray type films, and noir was a genre that a lot of filmmakers went to because they were able to tackle that stuff as opposed to other genres. You had to play it more safe. So that's why it's a genre that I'm always kind of leaning towards because of that reason.
Yeah, I'm a huge film noir fan as well. I'm not sure what the rest of the comment is saying, Nandi, but we're taking them all in. This is good.
Yeah. Yep. Tariq Nasheed speaks to Cynthia Erivo and other Brit actors they give American roles to as yet. If American actors can also network to portray British icons, heroes, then fair is fair balance.
Yeah, I have an issue with that. But I mean, when you're talking about Cynthia Erivo as Harriet Tubman, I feel like on two levels, I mean, she's a great actress. Don't get me wrong, and maybe she physically resembles somebody like Harriet Tubman more so than an American actor. But I think that as American, we have a different connection to the experience of slavery, and that role probably should have went to an American. Now, when you're talking about Wicked, that's a fantasy character, and she's a great
Yeah.
singer. I've got no problem with that. But you know,
And also, if we really want to, in regards to Wicked, if we want to play that card, I'm pretty sure the characters are supposed to be in like their early 20s, if that.
okay,
So I'm just saying, like, there's like a almost 20-year age
it doesn't quite fit.
addition.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I can look past it. Apparently, a lot of other people have looked past that.
It can be an issue for me, but I mean, because a lot of our viewers are into the foundational Black American, so I see where folks are coming from, and at the very least, there is a pattern, and it's worth asking, why do they do that? Is it because these actors are less seen by American audiences, and they can kind of hide them in to these characters more, or is there something more going on in terms of just the exoticism of somebody who's not American actor? So,
It's always good to ask questions. I always say that. So it's definitely.
oh, Chad, you're so neutral. It's fair. It's all good. I love it. I love it.
I always say it's like a case by case scenario, because it's like I don't know, there's nothing I can just apply to like everything, especially film as an art form. It's I don't know.
Okay, when these tariffs hit, I'm gonna be hoarding. I'll be mine. You can't afford these criterions now. The price instead of $20 is $30, and I got mine for 20.
So I was going to say it at the beginning of the live stream, since we're nearing towards the end, I can say it now. I think that's
Sure.
one of the reasons why Criterion kept pushing it back, because a certain orange fella decided to be quote unquote intelligent and go back and forth with other countries and keep changing his mind. So I feel like Criterion was like, okay, so what are we going to release these, or are we not? Like, are we going to release the sale, or are we going to not? Like, so crazy. Man.
Well, they also, to be fair, I would have been very upset if I had bought. They had a 4K 30% off sale like at the end of January. So if they had paced the 50% off sale right after it, like a week after, I would have been livid. Not know if I had not known about it. So I think that's another factor. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm just saying I'm a typical hoarder, and these tariffs will be good for my investment portfolio that you see behind. This is all I have in the whole world is these stupid movies and my cat.
Oh, they're not stupid. They're great.
Oh, yeah. I can't get anything.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Marcia.
Nandy says, I have that gem, bought it from Best Buy. And also says, in the Summer Soul was reportedly hidden for eons. It came out in 1969, same day as Woodstock. And the reports of the Man on the Moon, allegedly, they didn't want Summer of Soul to overshadow, though.
I like that conspiracy. I just want it on Blu-ray so I can retire this DVD.
Fingers crossed. Maybe Disney will give it to another company. I mean, sometimes they do that.
Yeah, it has been a while since the Fox has come out somewhere else.
Aforementioned, we're almost at the end. Per study, they don't want you to be able to hold good art in your hands anymore. Why? Study the fifth house and astrological. Gemini rules the hand. Twins study and fifth house, Mike. It'll dawn on you like an epiphany why they don't want real art in common hands anymore. It's to them in line with the age of Aquarius, in a grim way, though. I mean, I know I'm a Gemini, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what that means.
Well, I mean, I guess he's saying, that systems are in place to get you to keep buying from them as opposed to owning your own. And I'm just from the generation that when you had a tangible physical dollar, you could expect something tangible and physical in return. And I'm locked into it. I might be one of the last people that really cares about this kind of thing, but
hey, I do too.
It's reinforced by my belief that there's at least 1,000 people out there for any movie. And if that's all you need to sell to break even on something, then I want to start my own video label. So that's
as you should. I'm glad that you are, but I do agree about that. I mean, plus it's so overwhelming to go on a streaming service and have a watch list of a couple hundred movies versus, oh, I just bought these movies, and you put them off to the side and you have a constant
on
reminder.
the table.
I
Yeah.
need to watch these handful of movies. I don't know. For me, it's more manageable.
Well, I mean, if you're probably better organized than I am, I mean, I just put piles of, it's like, I typically I'll watch the bonus features. I'll preview a disc before I watch the whole thing nowadays. But
Really?
I'm more interested in the making of a story, like how did this movie get made, than I am the actual movie sometimes. So
Interesting.
that's but I don't necessarily go out of my way to listen to every audio commentary. But that being said, I need to share some stuff with you. I got audio commentaries from some of the unreleased Criterion stuff digitized. So
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, I'll
Off
send it
off
your way.
air, off air.
Whoever's watching, if you want, just email me and I'll send you the Dropbox link. I mean, we're talking about Dead Presidents. She's Got to Have It, and Boys in the Hood sound audio commentaries.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm sharing it for free, you can't come after me.
It's true. Yeah, because you're not making a profit.
Yeah, and I'm not advertising it. But I'm saying, like, if you're watching, you care about what they said. Criterion has a handful of movies that have not made it back to Blu-ray or DVD that were only on Laserdisc, and I happen to have the lasers, so I transcribed the commentaries. Actually, somebody did one about the James Bond commentaries that was really interesting. I don't know if you saw that on YouTube. But
No, I
apparently,
didn't.
the early days of Criterion, they did 3. Dr. No, Goldfinger, and I think From Russian with Love, they got the directors talking, but they said stuff that was not on code. And so they're very highly sought after laser discs. They go for a lot of money, and somebody cherry picked some of the comments that got them in trouble and made like YouTube videos about the lost audio commentary tracks. So maybe
Wow.
that's something I could do with these recordings is chop them up and just cherry pick little parts of it. But
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that
content.
would watch that too.
Well, and maybe it helps increase demand for these movies to get reissued. What's interesting, like Boys in the Hood, the commentary track, John Singleton told me himself. He said he thought it was one of the best commentary tracks he ever did because he did it right after the movie was made and he was still young, and he had a lot of insight. When they went back later to do it for the reissue on Blu-ray, he had a different perspective with the film that he didn't share. He had a different relationship with his own film. So, and the Dead Presidents commentary is interesting because at the end of it, they literally say, "Hey, thanks for watching." The Hughes brothers say, "Hey, thanks for watching. We know there aren't that many of these laser discs going around in the hood. So if you want to, please make a copy of this and sell it so people can hear what we have to say."
That's
So
awesome.
I mean, that's how rebellious they were. And Dead Presidents is still one of my favorite movies from that time period. So
And that's one I still need to check out.
yeah, well, that's a Disney. It may
That's
never come
Disney,
out.
really?
Caravan Pictures, yeah. Well, it was R-rated Disney, so it's sort of like I guess
Touchstone Pictures?
Armageddon and The Rock were also part of that deal. But those
Oh,
movies made it to DVD. Dead Presidents never made it to DVD.
wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. All right, I think we'll wrap things up. Once again, Mike, thank you very much for coming onto my channel. Do you have anything else you want to add? Just to my subscribers and then subscribers to you that
Well, yeah, people, should definitely check me out wherever you find your information. At ReelBlack on pretty much everything. I'm not doing Twitter as much or X as much as I used to for
yeah.
obvious reasons to me. Reasons are obvious to me. I just want to
One too
support
many
the platform.
salutes.
Yeah, I don't want to support that platform, but I'm keeping the name. I don't want anybody else to take the name. So pretty much anywhere except there, you'll find me fairly active. TikTok, Instagram,
We got
YouTube,
to
of
get you on
course.
Letterbox next.
Yeah, to go back, I should have jumped on it when it first started. I mean, the want, likes, and owns on Letterbox would be insane for me,
You
But
would, dude. You would love it. I use it every day. It's great.
well, you're watching more movies than I do. Like a lot of this, I do from memory. Like I see a movie once or twice years ago, and I'll put it in my archive, but I don't necessarily, you know, like I'm lucky if I get to see 2 movies a week at this point
Oh wow.
in life. Yeah, I'm not. I'm watching more YouTube than I am watching movies. But that being said, I'm a big collector of stuff. So, um, I'll sit down, I'll hang out, and I'll watch movies um, on a regular basis. But it's a communal experience for me as well. I don't like to just sit and watch stuff alone all the time. So
I get that.
that's the thing. But most of the time it's for research or for school now. So yeah. Oh, somebody's at Raphael, if he's still here. There's a little bit of Dick Gregory content that's here in the vault, but I'm saving it. I mean, specifically, I got him to talk about a movie he starred in called Sweet Love Bitter. And if that ever comes back around, I mean, there's music rights issues, serious music rights issues, that kind of prevent it from getting re-released. But, whenever that happens, hopefully if I do it or somebody else does it, then we can let that material out. But what you see is what you get. I mean, there's literally 6.5 hours of Dick Gregory on ReelBlack 2, and it's all in one video, the whole story. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again, Mike. Hopefully, fingers crossed, July we'll do an in-person video at Barnes and Nobles.
Okay. All right, I gotta
Feel like
save
that would
up.
be yeah, yeah, I know.
Being an entrepreneur, it's just this, it's like a never ending. It doesn't stop, does it? It's like every day, every week, there's a new release, and you gotta gauge. You add it to your list or limited editions. I mean, that's the good thing about Criterion, though, is that they're going to go on sale, and they're not
Yeah.
going to run out. All these
Yes.
other labels just drive you nuts with, they go out of stock. Vinegar Syndrome's the worst
I've
because
heard.
they don't seem to have a grasp on how many to print on certain things.
Yeah, that was the case with Hundreds of Beavers. They had it. I think it was like only 300 copies because they didn't think it was going to sell, and they sold all of them right away. And then I think they gave it to Amazon to then sell the Blu-rays, and then Amazon was backed up for a month or two. So
Wow.
it's like it's one of those things where people say physical media is quote unquote dead, but then things get sold out real quickly. So it's like it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm coming out. I'm in the Target, like the Public Enemy logo. Like
Yeah,
right now, Criterion is in my sights,
for House
but Vinegar
Party.
Syndrome, you're next. I got some gripes with Vinegar Syndrome that I'll unleash in the coming months. But right now, we're lobbying for House Party to make it out in 2025 in time for the 25th anniversary of the film. So 35th anniversary of the film. Pardon me. Oh, Chris
Let's
Dragnet
go.
just popped in. We're about to go, Chris.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. We're about to go. But all right. Yeah, thanks for coming. And guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Mike on both of his channels as well as on Instagram. And we will catch you guys around. And also, actually, one last thing. Be sure to let us know in the comment section down below any and all criterions that you bought for the haul and or what you're looking forward to buying in July for the Barnes and Noble sale. So without
Yeah,
further
I
ado,
still have a
guys.
list. I mean, I still need more, so I'm an addict. I
We
admit it.
always need more.
I should be careful how I say that because somebody could sample that little part. I'm warning people now. I'm an addict. I admit it. I'm speaking specifically of movies on Blu-ray. That's it.
And they're gonna splice that scene where you were like, where you were.
No, you got to be careful. You got to be careful in these
True.
days and age. All right, pause. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.